little bit about your your support base. I understand you work with a grandparents as parents
Support services group.
And thought about some counseling. You know, sometimes people think of counseling as a negative thing. You know, oh, there's something wrong with me mentally, so I don't want to go through counseling. But tell me a little bit about counseling and what you did to help your family.
In the very beginning, because my grandchildren had been abused, we knew that we were ill prepared to handle the ramifications of the abandonment and the abuse. And so we immediately knew that they needed counseling. I think when you become a grandparent, you're less cocky about being the perfect parent anymore. You know that you need outside influences to help you get through it. And you're willing to be educated, and you're willing to reach out and ask for advice where maybe when you were younger you thought you knew it all. And so I believe counseling is just another form of information. You know, some other way of giving you some guidance. We're a generation away from where these kids are being raised, and so we need to be informed about things that are going on, and the support group helps do that. You know, we bring in a lot of different agencies like alcohol and drug abuse awareness, all kinds of topics that are brought in. Sometimes we even have Social Security benefit representatives to tell us, you know, when we retire, will our grandchildren, what legal status do our grandchildren have to be in order for us to collect Social Security. We try and make everything relevant to the issues that grandparents are going through.
Okay, great. You talked a little bit about counseling, but who needs counseling in the family? Who went through the
everybody
counseling?
does. Everybody does. My husband and I needed to. You know, like I said, he'd lost weight with the stress, and I'd had heart palpitations with all the stress that we were going through. Whoa, we knew immediately that we couldn't live under that amount of stress, or we weren't going to live long enough to raise these kids. And so we went for therapy ourselves. And then each one of the children had their own therapist that they went to, dealing with the problems that they had. And then now, 8 years later, we go to family counseling. And it's just, my kids say that that's the talking doctor. And in essence, that's what it is. You go to the doctor if you're sick and you need a pill. Well, guess what? You have to go to a talking doctor if you have other things that are bothering you. No difference, you know.
So you've had them, say, 8 years now, and it sounds like that they're pretty well adjusted. What types of social things did you involve them in? How has your social life been?
Well, you know, for the kids, we knew we wanted to plug them in right away to all kinds of things. Some on a selfish perspective to give us a little relaxation away from them, or at least not, because they were very young and very active. So we joined the 4-H, and the kids all did rodeos, and they took care of bunnies, and they did. One is artistic, and she went to art camp, and another one loves to do motocross, motorcycles, and we were just real fortunate to live out in the country so that they could be in all kinds of sports and all kinds of friends. We try still today, gymnastics, dance class. We try and get them just any opportunity that they can succeed.
Well, they have other organizations that children can be involved in, such as the YMCA,
Absolutely.
if you have a local one, Boys and Girls Club.
Church activities, anything that you can get them involved in. My kids are also involved in a lot of help organizations where they go and help other people. And that makes them really feel good when they're working for not-for-profit organizations and helping deliver Christmas presents and helping feed the elderly, and those are positive things, and they don't cost anything.
So it sounds like you've given a well-rounded lifestyle, home environment to your grandchildren, but what about your adult children? How have you been able to work with them throughout this entire ordeal? What would you do to get past?
It took a long time, and I'll not say it was an easy fix. We had to go through a very long, protracted court battle that was messy on both sides, and there were resentments on both sides and anger on both sides. But when you finally came to the realization that your anger was only killing you, and you needed to get past that, and so you decided to establish boundaries on both sides. They established boundaries and we established boundaries. And then acceptance. Acceptance is the biggest, hardest thing. It just is what it is. It's not the way you dreamed it, not the way you wished it, but it is what it is, and you have to just accept that and build on what you have. You know, there are no perfect parents in the world. And people are going to make mistakes, and you have to have forgiveness in your heart, or else it just eats at you.
All of these things that we've talked about today can help the grandparent or the relative who finds themselves having to raise a child from another family member, be able to function on a normal basis. It is very difficult when someone shows up at the door. You have no idea what the background situation is. You had no idea to begin with, but you've got to find support for them, financial support. They've got to have the moral support to be able to survive. So Gail, thank you very much for your answers to our questions today. We appreciate your insight into raising grandchildren from another family member.
What could I have ever done with the rest of my life than to love and give a child a chance? I can't think of anything better I'd like to do.
Thank you, Gail.